Stargate is getting its own Freevee channel, but there's a little bit more information with that deal that might point to something a bit bigger. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, it is exciting that Stargate is going to be getting its own Freevee channels. Look, it's got Pluto in America. We don't really get that here in the UK. So we are hoping, actually, that Stargate is going to be appearing on the Freevee channels over here as well. Freevee appears in a few different areas, United States, Europe, etc. We don't actually know for certain whether it's going to appear or not. But I can say this. I actually flicked through the Freevee channels the other night, looking to see if I could see anything. And there are a few channels that says to be confirmed. So I'm hoping that means those are the Stargate channels. But it's not just Stargate that was actually announced. We're actually also getting an Outer Limits TV channel on Freevee. Now, I've already said to you a couple of times now that it is strongly rumoured that Outer Limits will also be returning. There's also going to be an MGM couple of channels, just like classic MGM stuff going on there. This really is the first time we've seen Amazon properly start to use its IP that it spent all that money on last year buying when it bought MGM. But the interesting thing is, Warner Brothers have also got a couple of channels as part of this new deal. Now, Amazon and Warner Brothers have lots of deals around the world. Here in the UK, HBO Max or Max has a deal with Sky. So Sky Atlantic is basically the HBO Max channel here in the UK. In the rest of the world, HBO Max doesn't exist, but it does appear on Amazon Prime. If you actually Google Amazon HBO deals, you'll see that over the last 12 months or so, they've slowly been getting more and more of these. They call them HBO Max passes, which basically gives you access and you can pay and basically get HBO Max on Amazon Prime. Now, why do I mention this? Well, if you're a regular SciTrekker, you'll know that we've been talking an awful lot about Amazon's need to get a partner to make Stargate, but not just Stargate, lots and lots of other projects. MGM has already been making movies with Warner Brothers. The recent Creed movies were done in partnership with Warner Brothers. They basically used their studio space and they partnered with the studio to make those movies. We believe that Amazon is looking to get a more permanent deal with somebody like this because Amazon don't own studios. Warner Brothers owns one of the largest studios in the world. The other thing is, Amazon about 6 months ago announced they're going to be spending over $1 billion a year to produce straight-to-cinema movies. Now, to do that, to actually start producing something where they're going to be releasing 5 or 6 movies a year, they're going to need a studio partner. They're going to need somewhere that they can have a very large section of studio space all year round, constantly working. Now, a couple of industry insiders have been talking about this for a little while. They've been telling me that, look, they have to do this deal. And when they do, it'll be worth a shed load of money. Why would Warner Brothers do that, though? Because they need a shed load of money. Warner Brothers is struggling at the moment. They have got significant debt. We've seen this with David Zaslav taking over at Warner Brothers in the last few months, that they have cut costs at every opportunity. And they are looking to get HBO material and content on lots and lots of different platforms around the world, again, making money. So why are Amazon actually doing this deal? And why are they putting Stargate on these Freevee channels? Well, from the Stargate point of view, there are a couple of possibilities here. They could be testing the waters to see if there is actually an appetite for Stargate. Now, I actually disagree with that theory because I think they've been doing that for the last 12 months. The fact that Stargate went on Pluto, the fact that they put it on Amazon Prime in the United States, then took it off again, then put it back on again. The fact that they removed it from Sky over here in the UK and then put it on MGM Plus. They've been moving Stargate around, I think, purposefully to try to judge what the interest actually is. The fact that they're now putting on Freevee really is irrelevant. They've already got that data. There is obviously also the possibility they are putting it on Freevee, which is a platform they have been desperately pushing for quite some time now because it actually has really good revenue because it has adverts on it. It is possible they're putting it there to drum up more excitement about Stargate. It's like basically a big advert for the project they're about to announce. Or it is actually just an example of them taking advantage of the IP that they own. But we should take some reassurance from that because they've took Stargate and they've got an MGM channel, which has got MGM stuff on it. Now, Stargate could have just appeared on there, but they haven't done that. They've created an Outer Limits channel and they've created a few Stargate channels. I imagine it's going to be SG1, SGU, and SGA, sort of like just running in, cycle constantly. So that really does, again, emphasize that Amazon know that Stargate is one of their biggest franchises. They know that it's the sleeping giant of sci-fi, which is something I've been talking about for 18 months, and they know they need to take advantage of it. But what about this deal with Warner Brothers? Does that mean Warner Brothers could be making Stargate? Now, I've been told for a little while now that there was really a choice between Sony or Warner Brothers. And Sony, even though they have really strong links with Amazon as well, they have really strong links actually with Penguin and Parker, who we think is going to be developing the new series. Sony are a little bit difficult to deal with. And I was speaking to somebody just last night who said, look, at Sony are expensive to deal with. They have really negotiate hard. They are very difficult to deal with. Just look at the Marvel arguments over the last few years over Spider-Man. And generally speaking, they do things on a project by project basis. Whereas Warner Brothers might be open to signing some sort of multi-movie, multi-year deal, Sony probably wouldn't be. So we're leaning away from Sony in that case. But there is a risk. We know Bad Robot has pitched for Stargate. We know they actually pitched twice. Now, Jenny Stiven, who was actually involved with Stargate Command, she was involved in Stargate, confirmed that this was true on a Dial the Gate last August. So, why do I mention Bad Robot? Because Bad Robot has an exclusivity deal with Warner Brothers. The only way Bad Robot could be pitching for Stargate is if Warner Brothers have agreed it. And in that case, Warner Brothers' involvement makes it possibly more likely that Bad Robot could actually end up being the production team that produces Stargate. We know they pitched once and it didn't go well. They pitched a second time and we actually don't know how that went. It has gone a little bit quiet since, but the pitches ended around there. Now, we know that Mark Fergus did negotiate with MGM about doing this project, about doing the development work for it. But we also know those negotiations ended around Christmas time, and we don't know if they restarted. Now, Amazon have locked down on a lot of this. A lot of my sources are saying nobody's talking about it at the moment. I'm getting a few little bits of information from like agent side of things that are giving us a few little tidbits, but even them are saying to us, look, an MGM executive approached me about this and they wanted to talk to this person, but they would not tell me what it's about. We are putting two and two together and we think it might be about a new big project at MGM and we think that might be Stargate, but we don't know for sure because no one's talking. Now, why is that? Is because the development work is really going into full swing now. I believe that Amazon actually probably do already have a partner or at least a plan to get one. I believe the development work has already started and I believe that is going to be a movie, a cinematic release of the new Stargate. But does the deal with Warner Brothers make sense? 100% it does. One of the things I was told was that Amazon want to do Stargate as a multi-platform project. Now, that might mean I know this is going to upset people, but it might mean cartoons. It might mean cartoon movies. Now, that could actually bring back things like SG-1. We could get an SG-1 movie where Richard Dean Anderson, everyone, basically comes back and voices characters. We could see even characters that have unfortunately passed away, voiced by other people. Thinking about the Babylon 5 project that Warner Brothers doing right now, where they've got other actors to come in and play the roles of some of the actors that have passed away. So we could see a classic SG-1 episode done in that way. We've heard lots of rumors about the potential for an SGU conclusion. Maybe that would also be much easier to do in an animation rather than actually something that's filmed. And because it would be much cheaper, I actually suspect that could be a much easier and safer project for MGM and Warner Brothers to do. Amazon need a strong studio partner if it's going to fulfill its ambitions for the next 10 years and getting all of these movies to cinema. The reason why it bought MGM was to get one, credibility, but also access to all this IP. We are seeing them start to take advantage of that IP by these Freeview channels that are being planned and by other announcements that we're expecting soon. This is now going into full swing. We can expect Amazon to really start tapping into all of these IP projects that they've bought through its acquisition of MGM. We've had delay and delay while they get ready, but now it really does seem like the starting pistol is raised and they're about to fire. And then it will be go, go, go. But I'd love to know what you think. Get into the comments. Would Warner Brothers be a sensible option? At the end of the day, it would only be studio space, maybe. But I think if there's going to be a big, maybe billion-dollar deal with Amazon, they're going to want at least some influence. Warner Brothers does seem to be being better run at the moment than it was maybe a couple of years ago. So could this be a marriage made in heaven? Or does it open the door to potentially Bad Robot getting involved, which is something we really, really don't want? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. You know what to do. Come on, hit those buttons. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first and you get to see them without the adverts, which is a bonus. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.